Hello everyone. So we've all seen the movie The Matrix trilogy series, and we're likening that movie to reality. Now you remember when Neo in the movie, he's going through the training program, and who was leading him? Don't forget, Morpheus. Let's forget that that's a human character and just look at the word and what that word might mean. Something that morphs, perhaps. So anyway, in the training program, Neo is shown the lady in the red dress. I'm sure you all remember her, because everyone around the lady in the red dress was dressed in... They all had clothes on which were grey or black or white, and like business suits, basically. And, dark. If you go back and look at the scene, she really stands out. She's all bright in red, and everyone else was essentially a backdrop kind of person. Right? It's a training program. They're all, backdrop people. What have I said before? That Dolores Cannon lady, she used to call organic portals backdrop people, which is an analogy to how you have movie extras in big Hollywood blockbuster movies. So she stood out, she really stood out, and it got Neo's attention, and he's the one, etc., and blah blah blah. But it got his attention, and what's interesting is, I think in every young man's life there comes a point that they realise this, whether that movie existed or not, that somehow women are used as a distractory device. It's like women come to you, and we're talking about the lady in the red dress. It's like the place we are is some sort of programmed reality called the Matrix, and it's like the Matrix throws this kind of wild card up or something, or some sort of card called the lady in the red dress card. And when that happens, it seems to me to be something fairly deep in your life, if not very deep to your core, and used also as distraction off what? Off your... well, what is there to be distracted from? Your magnus opus, which is like your little opals from your dark cloud of your soul. There's little opals which you kind of expand them in, and they open up. It's like a rainbow opal. If you look at a rainbow opal, there's all these different colours, and that's what I saw in a vision once. I call them magnum opes, OPS, magnum opes, and I realise it's like magnus opus, and they're little opes. You get it? Like they're little magnus opuses waiting to be, or something, It's like a highly encrypted, condensed, compressed format of your life's work, known as a corpus. Not a corpse, not a dead body, but corpus, which is like a body of work. And a light work, right? And because light is informational, and you bring it to this world, you shine it into this world, it's your magnus opus, your great work. At the end of history, we're all meant to be making a big house of light, and not just individual great works. We're trying to do one big great work now, so that we can sort of collectively raise our standard of existence. I don't even want to just say living, but our standard of existence, please. Please already. Anyway, so I've noticed the lady in the red dress, she remember in the movie, he turns back around. Neo turns, let's go back to the movie analogy for a minute. The lady in the red dress distracts Neo, he turns, he sees her, then he turns back, because Morpheus says, look again, and he turns to Morpheus, and he turns back, and it's the lady in the red dress is suddenly an agent. So go check the movie, go check the scene out. So the lady in the red dress, when Neo looks away and then looks back, becomes an agent, and that's my point. Now if you just look up the definition of what agent means, it's just I've forgotten the actual definition, I haven't looked it up for years, but it's just an actor, someone who takes on the energy of something, basically, or the role of something. They're an agent for that universal force, they are an agent for the universe, blah blah blah. So go look up the definition of agent. It's just a substance. And so what's interesting is that the lady in the red dress, she turns into an agent, and I find this interesting because, like I said earlier, there comes a time in every young man's life where they sort of realize something like this is going on with them, and you'll talk to almost any old man out there, and they'll see what I'm saying right now, I think, and I don't want to say it in too many words because I'll offend people, but I think you can all catch the drift of where I'm feeling and thinking. And from my experience, when I was young, I remember this guy, one of my bosses, he said, what did he say? I've forgotten, but something about, women, and I thought, I didn't get offended, but I thought, oh, hang on, give them a chance, and when my boss was telling me something, I don't know, it was kind of like, probably something to do with, don't worry about women, and women are weird, and blah blah blah, women are complex, and blah blah blah, he was saying something like that, and I said back, like in my mind first, I said, hang on, give them a chance, because I've always been very open-minded. I don't want to just always sway in one direction, so if I am, it's often by good measure and sufficient circumstance, but where was I? Oh yeah, and I said back to my boss, I was thinking in my mind, give them a chance, and I was like, oh yeah, and I probably said something along those lines, like either shrugged it off, or, sort of said, oh, give them a chance, or are you sure, and I was thinking that way, I wasn't, really saying that to him, but, you're always exuding body language and so on. But anyway, so my point is that, now that I've grown up, it's funny that I'm swayed via my own experience in the direction of what most old men and most men used to tell me, and what I saw, just TV, real life, whatever, every direction, guys being sort of fed up with women kind of thing, and annoyed by women and so on, that vibe, okay, that's the vibe I'm talking about, so that vibration. And what's interesting is that's what I was referring to. Comes a time in a young man's life when they sort of realize something is amiss, something's weird, something is going on with, I don't want to say every woman, because that's like saying every woman is an organic portal, and that's a very young philosophy, and I do not peddle that philosophy. But I will say that I'll say most women are like this, I've realized, and it seems to me part of where the game is up to at the end of the Piscean seminar phallic order, and the men have made the women toxic. It's not that just women are inherently toxic, it's that it's been a long phallic order, my friend. We've forced women to do horrendous things through history. They've been raped literally and so on. It's been crazy. Look back. So my point is, I don't want to. I'm not slipping into the end of, oh, most women are terrible, terrible, evil women. But it's very, very interesting, this lady in the red dress theme. The distractory nature of women. That's where I'm trying to point this video. And yeah, it's interesting. Via my own experience, I've even noticed this. And I don't want to say that they are always every woman, definitely not. And even if it's a woman that has done it, they're not always doing it. Because you have to understand, energies come over people. You go through, just like when you're a teenager, you go through a lot of fads. Energies come over people. So, and you learn to step out of this as you get older. That's called ascension. Ascending out of a cycle. Draw a little circle and an arrow. I don't mean to, do the phallic arrow round circle thing sign, but you draw a little circle and you go out of the circle, point an arrow out of the circle. That's ascension of any circle of behavior, energy, current, time cycles, etc. So it's funny that I've noticed the lady in the red dress theme in my life personally, and I've seen it in many, many of my friends' lives from as young as I can remember, and I'm sure it's not about to stop. But personally in my life, I've seen it a lot. Now that I look back and recapitulate over this theme, pardon me, clearing my throat. Now that I look back and recapitulate over this theme and look back, the lady in the red dress as a distractory device definitely seems to be there, and it seems to be to do with when things are going generally well for you. Remember, everything they do from the little to this is quite big in my opinion, but from the little to the big, it's always a sort of thing to make you eddy, like an eddy current, go around in circles, unascension hence, and distraction in nature. So the lady in the red dress is a big one, and don't forget, back to the scene of the movie, it's an agent, and I want to get that into people. Now, I'm not saying all women are agents, but I'm saying even if they are, an inured souled human, they can do it unconsciously, and there's many people doing that, and you're doing that by here's one example: associating yourself with bling, associating yourself with having to be made up, having to impress people in a certain way, and so on. So you can be doing it unconsciously, ladies, and that doesn't mean you're an organic portal. You may be an inured souled human, and you may even have to do it. You may be some slave out there in the world. There's apparently millions of slaves, and you might have to do it. So, think outside the box on this theme, guys. Use your full capacity, because that's how I see this stuff. I'm not just some low-life, low-talker. I have massive epiphanies on all this, and these videos are just to try and help you have your own. You're going to see common themes, and in my opinion, this is one of those common themes, and that's why I've made a video about it. So, words like the matrix here, what an organic portal is, how to define it, these are prerequisites for your knowledge of this video, But yeah, the lady in the red dress is an agent, and it can be just any girl, and it seems to me they come when you're generally doing quite well and many other attacks are not working. So is the woman you are with the lady in the red dress? My male friends, time for you to ask that question today, on this day. Is the lady you're with a woman in the red dress? Go back and look at the movie The Matrix. Think about it. 2. How is she doing it? Because the question's not, or You know, I previously said you need to ask yourself the question, is my woman right now a lady in the red dress for me and my spirit, my great work? Because great work is your spiritual work, because you are vertical in a light column. That's you. It's your, like, vortices. Your chakras are your vortices. Not all our chakras are the same. They're all our little vortices to the upper dimensional lights, yeah? So they're like little doorways and pathways to the high dimensionality. Okay. So part one is not... part one was, you know, is she? But really the question you need to ask is, don't worry about is she, because they're very good, and especially robotic portals, because the robotic portal is more complex than the organic portal. So if you have a lady in the red dress who's a robotic portal, you may not know it. And, you know, that's why you need to ask this question. How is she doing it? Let's just assume that she is an agent. Just assume that your woman is an agent, because if you don't, you're going to fall into every little caveat on the way, because you're not going to want to inspect her. So if you're going to be serious about it, be serious about it. That's all I'm saying. If you don't want to be serious about it, okay, don't. But for those who want to be serious about it, just go straight to the question, how is she? How is she doing it? Assume she is, because then you're looking for it. Now, don't immediately go after a week of seeing little signals, conclude, she's a lady in the red dress, because no, you're going to need some time. Okay, like for me, it might be months to years. However, it may be a week, it may be a day, I may realize it straight away. You're going to have to, figure it out for yourself. But often I don't like to conclude too quickly, or a priori conclusion. Conclude before I know. So that's why I'm saying first find out. Then you'll know, then you can conclude, is it right for you to assume she really is, to leave her, to change your life, to whatever decision you want to make then. But, don't priori conclude off a few little signals and be like, oh, she is. Because, people are brainwashed these days a lot. So she can be an inuit soul human, and you shouldn't just break up with her because she's taken on some of these worldly matrix ways, let's say, of a lady in the red dress sort of nature, which may be to go out and party, it may be to go out and party and drink and stuff instead of staying that night writing a book. And then you leave that book behind, and that's called your corpus, after your corpse. So you have a body of work you leave after your body. So, it can be in any form. It can be that you are doing great work already and she takes you off that path. And it might feel really good. It's going to feel comfortable because she'll probably get you into the comfort of the second dimension, or the comfort of body. That's in the second dimension, that's where the comfort of being in a time cell or a body is found. You don't find the comfort of body in 7th dimension or the 10th dimension. You find the comfort of body in the second dimension, the physical domain. So, it can come that way. Just think of how she can be, my battery is running low, but just think of how she might be doing it. Assume she is, just to play the mindset of she is a lady in the red dress for only that reason, just so you look at it instead of, dismiss. Okay? So I'm talking about like a fake assumption. Assume she is for, I don't know, a month, and just see if any signs show up, how deep they are, how big, how bad is it, Do your own due diligence, think with yourself. Okay, I'm just trying to give you an outline of how I might approach this. That's all this is. So yeah, the lady in the red dress. It's a thing. Look back at the movie, think about what I've said, use what you know. consciousazine.com Chronicles.
So take a deep breath and allow the muscles in your body to relax, as if you're lying upon a cloud and dissolving into it. Breathe slowly and intentionally through your heart. With each breath, you relax deeper and deeper as your body becomes lighter, dissolving into the cloud. As you inhale, begin to feel the rhythm of your heart as the life force is drawn into it, and then softly exhale. Now visualize a large circle of bright lavender flames about 33 feet beneath you. They are so beautiful as they begin to rise higher and higher. And as they draw closer, you notice that each flame is edged with a beautiful golden light, like sunlight on water. The flames grow larger still until they surround and engulf you and rise swiftly the same distance above your body as they were below your body. The sensation is like a cool breeze as the flames dance around and through you, and you feel lighter as the flames dissolve and consume the chatter in your head and the static energy of the day. As the static is dissolved, you see a brilliant white light emanating from your heart that expands and expands out into every cell of your body. Begin to feel the pulsating rhythm of your heart, and feel the sensations in your fingers and toes, your legs and torso, and now your head. You realize the light has awakened every cell in your body, and you are open, receptive, alert, and focused.